Oh, okay. I guess we're back. Exposing alpha male podcast talking points.
Why they go for young women is because they're easier to manipulate. Exactly. So there's a reason why that older man doesn't have a woman around his age, because he can't get one, because that woman is so much more smarter and experienced than this 19, 20, 21-year-old.
Smarter.
Why they go
I
for
got
young...
so many comments for that. So much engagement. They're like, why smart? Y'all so bad. I'm like...
Well, I mean, but they're right. Like that makes no sense.
They're right that I'm so stupid.
Well, I mean, if that position is stupid, I'm not saying you're stupid.
Well,
I just
that's what I just said, and you're like, they're right. I'm like,
yeah, no, I didn't say that you're stupid. I said the position's stupid.
Okay.
So they're right. They're right about the position. The position doesn't make any sense. Like, it's just kind of an assertion, right?
Yeah, I personally feel like we've really, really delved in on the topic on age difference in dating. So I
really feel like really feel like we haven't. Right?
We spent like hours.
I really feel like we should revisit it, because I really feel like you're very evasive.
Okay. Can we do like
about your answers?
Abrasive?
That's why I really feel like that. You know.
Evasive. He says evasive.
Okay, so what do you...
Oh, I've got a question for you. What's the oldest guy you've ever dated?
39.
Wait. And you're 25?
Mm-hmm.
How old were you when you dated him?
Recently. Recently.
So like 24, 25?
I was 25.
So you're 25 to
But
be
you're 25
dating
now.
basically a 40-year-old.
Yeah, I did.
And this is problematic, not for you, so it's rules for thee and not for me.
Wait, I just have a couple of questions.
Okay.
How long did you date him for?
A few months. That was when I was speaking of that ended up having a girlfriend. I stopped seeing him because that came out.
How long ago did you date him?
I literally just stopped seeing him right before we went to Miami, and we went to Miami a week ago, so 2 weeks. 2 weeks and some change.
Wait, and you said you were dating him for 3 months?
Like 4.
4. But you said you've been single for 5 years, and then you said you've been celibate for 10 months. So did you not?
I was celibate. That was the longest.
Oh, you're right.
That was the
you're right.
longest amount of time I was celibate.
So you lost your celibacy to him.
Yes, I did.
AKA recently.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
And he dumped you?
No, I left him because it came out he had a girlfriend. So I left.
Okay, gotcha. So, but if he hadn't had a girlfriend, would you have stayed with him?
I possibly would.
Yeah, so I guess the age gap thing really isn't much of a problem.
But we started off with 40 and 18. That's a bigger...
You're talking about a couple of years difference here.
So much can change though,
like
from my 18-year-old self to now. I
Her
still feel like
prefrontal cortex is fully developed.
But I can acknowledge me and this man, we did not have that much in common, and it took
And you would still be with him?
It took a lot of what's the word, boo? Convincing and all that for me to give him the chance, and then I ended up liking him. But off the bat, I was saying like, no, I'm not into it. But he ended up showing
so persistent.
He was very persistent.
So wait a second. So let me just get this right. So you ended up liking him, and you would still be with him right now if it didn't come out that he had a different girlfriend other than you?
Yeah, if
Nickelodeon donated $69. These are 12-year-olds trapped in adult bodies. They dress like it, act like it, are just as intelligent.
Be nice.
Ironic they complain about men going after women like them give big P.
Wow, thank you for that input. But
$69.
Huh?
$69.
I like that they gave you $69 for that.
I changed.
I respect that.
I changed it up. TTS is now 69. Wait, what's the oldest guy you've dated?
Same, 39.
Not the same guy.
Not the same guy.
Wait, but how could you guys have had massive age gap relationships?
And
and that's what I was saying.
And
like I can
That's
acknowledge.
crazy.
And I only dated that guy for a few weeks, and I was shown very quickly why I was like, what the fuck am I doing?
And she didn't break
And
her
same
celibacy
thing,
for him.
and same thing with her. She was like, what the fuck am I doing? We were both like, we lived the experience.
No, that's not what she said. She said that she would still be with that guy if she hadn't found out that he
And
had a
disrespect
girlfriend. She
didn't
wasn't
happen.
like, what the fuck am I doing? She found out he was messing around with another girl. That's a totally different thing than what the fuck am I doing?
Well, I feel like there was a lot of conversations between us, like in
Girl
private,
time.
that was like, what the fuck am I doing? And
Oh, shit.
Desert Joe donated $69. Too much time has been spent giving these two strumpets a platform. The rest of the panel didn't get nearly enough engagement. Everyone has lost brain cells listening to their incoherent views.
Thank you, Desert Joe. Appreciate it. The donation. Thank you, Desert Joe.
We didn't know all these videos were gonna come up.
Yeah.
We're just as surprised as you guys.
yeah.
So are you saying then that you don't have any problem or objection to 25-year-olds, dating 40-year-olds?
I don't.
I think
Right.
that's a more I do think, because you're saying, oh, it's a few more years. I think 18 to 25, I'm not who I was at 18. I'm a lot smarter. Everything's different in my life now. That's what we're saying. But I think it was
Yeah,
really
but
the
I mean, that
40
was
to
going to be
80
the case when you're 35, too. So
But
should we wait till you're
exactly.
35?
No, but I think it was alarming hearing 40 and 18.
It's very alarming to me how alarming basic things are to you. So I don't understand why the amount of alarm that you have, how alarmed you are, is actually informing us of anything. 18 to 40, very, very little distinction between that and 23, 24, and 40. Very, very little distinction there. Like, what is it? You're talking about 3-4 years.
We can just agree to disagree. How about that?
We got to play the next clip,
I don't
boys.
think we can, because it seems like you're preaching do rules for thee, but not for me. Age gap relationships don't actually seem to bother you. You just become alarmed for some reason that, oh, now they're adults, but they're not 25. I don't know why that matters. Like, if you were 23, would that have been worse?
I also can give advice based on my own experiences, like learn from my mistakes, and I could also give better advice than I give to myself, as could most people.
Yeah, but why would you give that advice if you still would be with the guy if he hadn't been with some other chick? That's what I don't get.
Because I just personally feel 18 is too young for a 40-year-old, but I'm not going to stop it. They're legal and they could do whatever. But I just personally would feel the way about it, but that's just me.
And it goes back to you saying, like, oh, you just want us to say it's ick. Like, I guess, yeah, we're just looking at it sideways. It's not illegal. It's not like we're going to stop anyone from doing it. We're just talking our shit. That's what it really comes down to.
Yeah, I know. I'm just talking my shit back. And
Yeah,
I'm saying
no,
it's
but that's what I'm
incoherent.
saying.
It doesn't make any sense. I don't really understand the position. And you yourselves are involved in age gap relationships. And according to her, at least, that one may have worked out. She liked the guy. There's no problem there until she found out he had a girlfriend. Might still be with him right now. And maybe live happily ever after. Like, I just don't see the problem here.
See nothing. Well, I believe in divine intervention. I wasn't meant to be with that man. So.
Oh, you believe in divine intervention, do you?
Yeah.
And where does this divine intervention come from? God?
Yeah.
Do you have dreams?
I have dreams, signs, and it's just up to you to pay
Did
attention
you go
to
to
them.
St. Baptist?
What church do you go to? Is it St. Baptist Church?
I don't go to a church.
Oh, so how do you know that these signs are divine and not satanic?
How do I believe they're not satanic? Because if it was satanic,
Yeah, how do you
it wouldn't
know?
be for
How do you
my-
know that they're divine and not satanic?
It wouldn't be for my greater good.
Wait. They wouldn't be for your greater good.
Yeah, because I feel like Satan will bring you down in life. God is
Oh,
trying to
okay.
uplift
Does
you.
God want you to have sexual intercourse outside of marriage?
That's honestly between me and God.
Okay, does your God want you to have sexual intercourse outside of marriage?
I feel like, yeah. I'll say
Yeah,
yes.
of course, right? But your God is, of course, not demonic because that's for the greater good that you have sex outside of marriage, right? That would be the greater good. So let me ask you this. If God wants you to have sex outside of marriage, what would Satan want?
I don't really spend time thinking about him. But
Yeah, but what would you say Satan would want if God wants you to have sex out of marriage? Would Satan want you to then have sex only exclusively if you were married? Is that like a satanic practice, do you think?
I feel like God wouldn't want me to spread myself thin and just fuck everybody. But I also believe, like, if I wanted to test drive someone before we get married, I don't think I'm going to hell or that's satanic.
Well, what do
Because
you
I
think
want to
Satan wants you
know,
to do?
I want to
What
get
would you
intimate
say
with,
Satan
I want to
wants you
get
to do?
intimate with my person before we get married. So I don't.
Yeah, I
think
know,
that's
but
satanic.
what do you think that Satan? What do you think he would want you to do?
Die.
Well, I mean, what? He would want you to die. And as far as sexual ethics go, do you think that Satan's preference would be that you were married or unmarried?
I don't think he gives a fuck about marriage.
You don't think he cares?
Doesn't
Yeah.
give a fuck.
No, he doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah. So God wants you to have sex outside of marriage. You don't know what Satan wants. He just wants stuff and things.
I don't feel
doesn't
like
care.
God necessarily
a
like
devil's
yes
threesome is
have
what he
sex outside of marriage, but I feel like God is an understanding God, and He
Yeah,
wouldn't
he doesn't
want
care.
us
Yeah.
to spread ourselves thin, and He would want us to hold ourselves at high value, which would mean sharing ourselves less with men. But I don't think that necessarily means save it for marriage.
Okay. So what do you think that God thinks it's okay to have sex outside marriage?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And how many partners do you think God would be okay with you having sex outside of marriage with?
I can't put a number on it.
Yeah, thousands maybe, right?
No,
Fu-
I don't think it's that.
Well, wait. You just put a number on it. That's
I
weird.
can't put a specific number on it, but I could disagree with thousands.
Okay, less than 100?
Maybe.
Less than 50?
The lower it gets, the more ideal, yeah.
Okay, so then the lowest would be none.
Yeah.
So then the preference would be none, would be what God wants, right?
Preferably one,
No.
not none.
None. Yeah. So so then God doesn't want you to have sex outside of marriage, right?
May I?
No, you may not. I want her to answer real quick.
We'll let you come in though after.
God doesn't want you to have sex outside marriage, right?
I don't think he's like, yes, like, I want her to fuck. I don't think he thinks like that. But I think if I go through my life experiences,
So God, who gives you a platform for all ethics, thou shalt not murder, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not covet, thou shalt, right? Gives you all of your ethical framework. He just happens to not give a shit about this highly important one that he talks about all the time.
well, I don't go based off a certain, like, I don't go based off of the Bible. I have my own relationship. So you're naming these.
Well, how do you...
rules.
Wait,
What?
final question, Andrew. I do have to move
Okay.
it on.
What do you go off of then?
I go off of just trying to be a better person every day, and if I made a mistake yesterday, I try to make it better the next day.
Yeah, but what's your reference for that if it's not God?
I didn't say it's not God. I'm just saying I don't follow the Bible or a religion.
Well, then what God do you follow?
I
The-
believe
like,
in
you just-
God.
you
I
just
believe
made-
in
the God you
angels.
made up,
I
or-
believe in my ancestors looking out for me. I don't believe in just God. I believe that there's a lot of spiritual help on my side. And I don't think I would have made it this far if I didn't have that.
The spirits of the ancestors help us. Do you do like a chant? Do you burn some incense, maybe? A little bit of incense when chanting to the ancestors? Maybe a little smoke lodge action going on? Like maybe rub a little poisonous frog on you a little bit so you can have some visions of
Oh
the
my
ancestors.
God, how did you know?
No.
Wow. Wow.
All right, sorry. You wanted to jump in the conversation. I didn't mean to Bogart. I just
Wait,
wanted her to
you
answer.
had something for this? You had something?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I would think God would want you to only have sex when there's love or unconditional love present.
And what would be a great determiner for that?
I don't think you need marriage to have or express love for another person.
Oh, well, I mean, I guess that's true, but what would be a good conditional so that you knew that you were committed to somebody and you had made some kind of, I don't know how to phrase this, a vow maybe of some kind, like almost a commitment and a vow and a promise to stay with a person for the rest of your life. Like, what could be a more powerful affirmation of that love than that, I wonder?
You could also just vow a commitment to love and being.
Yeah, it sounds like marriage.
Person.
It sounds like you're just saying like marriage, but not calling it marriage. So if
you
you
can get
say,
married
well,
and
I vow to stay with you for the rest of my life and love only you unconditionally, sounds like you're just talking about marriage.
No, that's what me and my partner did. We're not getting married.
So then you don't consider yourself married?
I don't consider us married?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay, so what are you?
I mean, we're just together and we've made a promise to each other to stay with each other for the rest of our lives. And we don't need a marriage to make that happen.
Well, I don't know what it just sounds like it's marriage. It sounds like you're just not calling it the thing which it is. What do you think marriage is? What is marriage?
Apparently, I don't know because I thought it was illegal.
Well, tell me what it is.
Lol
What is
Paladins
marriage?
donated $69. My last relationship was a 15-year age gap. On behalf of all 40-year-old men, I disavow these women. Maybe the 50-year-old men will claim them.
Bye.
Yeah, just real quick. Let me get back to this real fast. What would you say marriage is?
My impression was that marriage is like something legalized.
No, it doesn't need to be legal at all.
Or I don't know. What? How would you define marriage? Is it not
Well,
involved with the church?
I would define it as like some kind of vow that you would make to a partner to stay with them for the rest of your life exclusively and allow nobody else to enter the relationship ever through sickness and in health and until death do you part. And you know all of that. Did you make some type of vow that was similar to this?
No.
No. So what was your vow?
I mean, I guess we just decided we wanted to spend the rest of our life together,
And nobody else, right?
and nobody else.
And you're going to take care of each other through sickness and in health
Yes,
until death do you part.
and beyond, hopefully.
Yeah, through richer and poorer.
Yes.
Oh, that sounds an awful lot like this other institution. I'm just saying, it sounds very similar to this other
Isn't
institution.
marriage recognized through the church, though?
Yeah, some marriages can be recognized through the church, which aren't done through the church, yeah.
Okay. I guess I just don't see why it's considered a marriage if you make this decision to be committed to somebody.
What do you think the point of marriage is?
I thought it was to be recognized under God that you are.
Yeah, so that's within my worldview, I would agree with that. So I think that Christian marriage is valid and that other types generally are not. Those maybe some under some circumstances can be recognized. But there's no possible way that you think that marriage in a secular sense has anything to do at all with God. Like if two secular people get married, there's no God thing involved, right?
Yeah.
What is that? Isn't that the same exact shit that you're talking about right this second?
Sure.
Yeah, so I mean, it sounds like, I don't know, it sounds like marriage? Just saying.
It sounds like an arbitrary label.
An arbitrary label.
Yeah, it's just making a word to define committing yourself to somebody for the rest of your life.
Yeah, but I mean, we have words which are
marriage.
descriptors of things which map onto the reality of what a situation is. So if you could think of a word, one word that can come to mind that could relate to me instantly, that you made a vow to a person for life, through sickness and in health, until death did you part, when you would never allow anybody else to enter into whatever this sanctimonious thing is that you made the vow, what would you say that word would be? If you could just use one.
I suppose I would say marriage because that's what I've been taught. Okay,
Right.
but what?
So
what
it's
would
almost like that word is super useful to describe this concept, right?
let's consider that humans have existed for hundreds and thousands of years, and let's assume that there have been plenty of people, human beings, men and women, that have gone together, loved each other, and just devoted themselves to each other and raising a child for, the entirety of their lives. Are those people still married?
Yeah, so if you were to describe it this way, then yeah, I would say that they were married. What else would they be?
Just are like animals married too? When they
No, I don't think that they have the capacity to make vows. Do you think that animals have the capacity to make vows?
Wolves do.
Dude, no, wolves
saw a
don't.
dolphin do
Wolves
that
don't
shit
go
once.
over and go, hey, you know what? I vow to be only with you, Mrs. Wolf, for the rest of our lives until death do us part through richer and through. No, they don't do that.
And I think penguins too.
No, penguins don't make vows either. I just want to let you know that no animal anywhere on planet Earth has the capacity, other than human beings, to make vows of any kind.
But do we just assume?
Not one. There's not a single one which exists.
Do we assume that pre-civilization people actually made vows to each other when they decided to have kids together, or were they just?
That's what you just said. I'm just going by your criteria. You said, what if 100,000 years ago there's two human beings who made this type of commitment with each other? What else would that be?
It doesn't mean that they got together and agreed upon these terms. It could just be that.
Well,
that's the way that
then
the
we're
relationship
outside of
played
your own
out.
hypothetical. So then you're talking about something different. So what did they do?
They just were attracted to each
They-
other.
they- So they just were? Well, then no, I wouldn't consider that marriage.
But
No.
if it meets all the same criteria of they're not dating outside of.
It can't meet the same criteria. There's no promissory, right? That's the distinction. You're making this weird distinction where you go, what if 100,000 years ago there was two people who promised themselves to each other who never promised themselves to each other? It's self-defeating. It makes no sense.
I guess I'm saying that it doesn't have to be a spoken agreement.
It's an unspoken agreement?
Sure.
Okay, well, how would that work?
Can you guys, maybe just
Should we
final
just move on?
points, just saying?
Yeah, I'm not really sure how that would work, how the unspoken agreement would, if the partner was then plowing some other chick down the road, and she was like, what the, and he just shrugs, and, it's unspoken, there's no real commitment here, we didn't really, unless we're assuming 100,000 years ago human beings couldn't talk.
I kind of feel like this is a little moving away from the original point, which was that you can just move on. Sorry.
Can we play the next
No, I
clip?
think that I'm just saying the original point, and I'll just wrap it right here real quick and give you the last word. I think the original point was, what do you consider marriage to be? I would say in the secular sense that if you had a word which would encompass exactly what it is that you're talking about right this second, this type of commitment you made with this other person, that would be considered marriage. I don't really see, I don't know what else secular marriage would be than that.
Sure.
It's beautiful. Oh, sorry. Next clip.